Okay, so the next thing you're going to do is arrange your pages in, and we're going to get them in the order we're going to do it. So if you have your cover sitting face up in front of you, you're going to flip that cover over just like you were opening a book. And then you want to have your front cover on the left, and then the inside of your back cover needs to be on the right, and that will be how we're going to put our pages in. So the next thing you're going to do is grab your pages that are leftovers, and what you're going to want to do is set them in an order that you want. So as you're doing it, you're going to have two pages, the one on the left, the one on the right, and those pages you're going to obviously see together. So you want to design those together. So if you put down, say, a simple plain page on one side, then think about adding a more exciting page on the right side. So this is very free-spirited. Whatever you want it to do is fine. The way you should go through it, though, is if you set up two pages, you like those together, then you want to turn the page on the right, just like it was already bound in a book. Just flip it over. And then the back of that page on the right is what you're going to start your next set of two pages with. So you're going to go through and set them in the way that you think is interesting to you. And we're doing just pages right now. You don't need to worry about tucks or anything like that. So decide how you want your two pages, then turn that one page on the right. And you're going to go through and do all your pages, get them in an order that seems good to you. And if you don't like the order, you change it. Let's see here. Oh, that's quirky. So my book page, lots of book pages, can go right here, and then I turn it. The nice thing about doing it this way as well is part of the charm of a junk journal is that your pages are different sizes a lot of times. And when you set it up this way, you can see what you're going to be seeing stacked up. So if you look at this page right here, I've got a map, then I have some coffee dyed paper, then I have this quirky sign that says follow traffic instructions. And then on the other side, I have another map so I can see how it's stacked up. In this case, I have this small page. And so when I put it in, I'm going to want to know where it's going to be visualized. And see how you can turn back and forth between pages? You see a page, you go, oh, I'd like to put that farther back. So maybe I want Travels with Charlie back here by the map. So go ahead and get all of your pages set the way you want them to be, and then we'll be back. So as you've gotten all your pages in order, go ahead and flip them all back like you're just opening that book. Just quickly look through everything you've set and say, do I like how that looks on those in that order? If you feel a little overwhelmed by putting all the pages in, a simple recommendation I have is that you pick out 3 pages that you don't like and move them and put them somewhere else. So we're just kind of looking through, making sure this seems like a good base for us. And if some of the pages seem really plain, you have lots of things to decorate those with, so don't worry about that. You're not going to lose that opportunity. All right, so the next thing you're going to pull out of your package is your pockets and envelopes. Those are on the bottom right. And that you should have 2 envelopes and 2 pockets, and then there'll be a bunch of random tags and papers in that pocket as well. So your pockets, one will be all folded fun like this, and it has the 3 different places where you can stuff things. One is much more simple. It's just one fold glued on the bottom. And then you have your envelopes as well. So what you're going to do with these is you're going to go through just like turning the pages of that book again, and you're going to place those envelopes where you want them in those pockets. What you should think about as you're doing that is, do you want the envelopes and pockets do you want to hole punch them yourself and make them their own free-floating essentially page, or do you want to attach them to a page that's already in there? So those are both options for you, but just kind of think that through as you're going through and decide where you're going to put those. Let's see. So this white page and blue page is quite bland. I am going to give it some pizzazz. And I'm thinking this is a pizzazzy pocket. How do I want to do it? I think it's probably going to sit right there. So you're not gluing right now, just set things where you want them. And generally, I actually usually set my entire journal up the way I want it, and then I go back and glue everything back in. That can be a really good way to kind of save yourself some challenges there. Let's see, where do we want this pocket? That feels a little blah to me. See, here's another one that's blah. I'm going to wait on that one though. Let's see. I really like to punch an envelope and use it as its own page. I think that is just a lot of fun. It's very tactile. Here we go. So this one I will punch and we will put it in like that. And I have two more to go. One's this orange here, orange yellow. Let's see. And actually, as I look at this, I see that this is graph paper or ledger paper and green, and then I turn the page and notice it's green and then ledger paper, and I go, I don't have to play that way. So I can move that and change that around. This is a good spot for an envelope or a pocket. What do we do here? I think I'll attach that one there. And this nice tall envelope is a lot of fun for its own page as well. All right, so you've placed your envelopes and pockets where you want them. And you've decided if you're gonna glue them down or if you're going to punch them. And when you go to punch, because I didn't punch them for you beforehand, you can easily punch them yourself by laying the envelope under a page to use as a template. And then I like to just circle that spot, and then you'll be able to punch there. And that way you have the best options for you. Okay, so now that you've established where your envelopes are gonna go and your, I'm sure they have a name, pockets, where your pockets are gonna go, you're going to get out the tucks and bands. They are in the top middle of your packaging. And so you should have 2 tucks and 2 bands. So to explain how this is gonna work, these are things that you're gonna attach to the papers, and then you'll be able to slide things in them. So in the case of a band, you're gonna glue it on both sides, but not on the center. And that way you'll be able to slide things in the center, and they will hold there just because it's somewhat flat paper, etc. So I have given you a horizontal band. I've also given you a vertical band, and they can go either direction. The way the tucks work is you put them in a corner, and you only glue the 2 sides. You don't glue the center, that hypotenuse. Does that take you back to geometry? Just the 2 sides, and then you're able to tuck things in there, and they'll just sit there as well. That can be a really good option if you have like a bigger piece that you really want to showcase. So that can be an option. So what you're gonna do, same deal, you're gonna flip through it like you're flipping through a book, and you're going to put your bands and your tucks where you think they will go well. So if you still have a couple of blank, boring-ish pages, this can be a great place for that. So if we put this band here, like that, and then don't glue anything because you're still making up your minds what you want to do. That could be a good option there. Actually, I think, no, the brown one's better. And these tucks are fun that are folded because you can put even things on the back of the square and it'll be somewhat hidden, which can be really good. So just keep flipping through. Where do I want a little more pizzazz? If you have a thin paper, like a notebook paper or these coffee dyed pages that aren't as thick, if you put a tuck or a band on there, that can work, but just know that because it's a thin paper, it may try and rip on you. So in this case, a horizontal band is a good option because it does actually give some stiffness to it. that can be a good thing. I'm actually gonna put this one on this back side, I think. But just know that because it's a thin paper, it may not be as resilient as you might want it to be. Book pages, you need to just feel that paper and see what you think about it. Is that a thick, heavy paper that's gonna hold things up? Or is it a little thin and not quite what you're looking for? So you just wanna give that some good attention, see what you think is gonna work there. The other option you have when you put a tuck in is you don't have to put it on the bottom of the page. You can put it on the top of the page, and most things will hang in there pretty good. You kind of jam them into where the glue meets the paper. That works out pretty well.